Mark chapter 6, verse 17 to 29. For Herod himself had sent and had John arrested and shackled in prison because of Herodias, the wife of his brother, because he had married her. For John had been saying to Herod, "It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife." Herodias had a grudge against John and wanted to kill him, but she could not, because Herod feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man, and he continually kept him safe. When he heard John, he was very perplexed, but he enjoyed listening to him. But an opportune time came. Herod, on his birthday, gave a banquet for his officials and military commanders and the leading men of Galilee. Now, the daughter of Herodias came in and danced. She pleased Herod and his dinner guests, and the king said to the girl, "Ask me for whatever you want, and I will give it to you." And he swore to her, "Whatever you ask me, I will give it to you, up to half of my kingdom." She went out and said to her mother, "What shall I ask for?" And Herodias replied, "The head of John the Baptist." And she rushed back to the king and asked, saying, "I want you to give me right now the head of John the Baptist on a platter." The king was deeply grieved, but because of his oaths and his dinner guests, he was unwilling to refuse her. So the king immediately sent for an executioner and commanded him to bring back John's head. And he went and had John beheaded in the prison, and brought back his head on a platter and gave it to the girl, and the girl gave it to her mother. When his disciples heard about this, they came and took away John's body and laid it in a tomb. In this passage from Mark, we see the power of an oath. Herod followed through on the promise he made despite his mixed feelings. One bad decision on his part led to another and had an impact on many people. We can see this repeated often, not only by some in leadership, but many others who simply make a bad decision. We also see this when something is done not keeping in mind their role or responsibilities, instead of doing it the right way. Also, feeling pressured into allowing things to continue badly. It takes courage to admit mistakes or errors of judgment. Taking time to gather information, pray, reflect, and weigh up the consequences before taking any serious action or decision is important. Many times we get lured by the passing shimmer of earthly power and stature that we fall into moral pride, a willful disregard of what our conscience gently whispers to us. Instead of moving towards prosperity, we fail to humbly acknowledge we have been wrong or excessive in our decisions or actions. Instead, we resort and cling onto social pride, disregarding criticism out of fear that others would think less of us, accept our faults, and reform our ways. Pride, both social and moral, inevitably dulls our sense of right and wrong and disables us from acting with due prejudice and charity. Like Herod in the gospel story today, when have we last forgotten to pause and distance ourselves from our ego and allow God and others to restore us back to our beckoning of our divine moral compass? Is there any area of your life where your desire or decision are not truly in harmony with God's desire for you. If you have made wrong decisions that have negatively impacted on you or others, ask the Lord guidance and reconcile any difficulties or fractured relationships.